meeting is called to order. Okay, we lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner.
Everyone please rise and face the flag if you are able. If you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Chokshi,
Aye.
Commissioner Spitzer,
Here.
Vice Chair Jung,
Here.
and Chair Vassan.
Yes. The floor is open for public comments. So, Commissioner Ken, would you like to share a few words with us? Yes.
Good evening.
We can hear.
All the staff and council members and the citizens of the city of Cerritos. My name is Chan Young Kim. I have been privileged to serve for the city as a property preservation commission for I don't know how many years, maybe over 20 years. And
No. Just keep close.
when the council member Laura Lee, when first she got elected, and she appointed me to take a position, and then I was really enjoying not only this my duty, but I have learned so much from the city administration and management and how to keep up the city well managed, and it was a special privilege for me and then for my family, and also my whole family, the children. I got the three children. They all came here with the age of 1, 2, and 5, and so on, and then they became the wonderful citizens. Grew out from the city of Cerritos, graduating from Cerritos High School and Whitney High Schools and so on. But anyway, due to my physical condition at this point, I have to give away my position, my special privilege to someone else to carry out, because I cannot do full function with this condition. So anyway, thank you so much, for all these years that city staff, you educated me so much. And then also I met so many individual citizens. And then also I learned how to manage the city to beautify. And then the city of Cerritos is one of the best municipal area that, Los Angeles County, if not overall United States. And then, of course, I have been living here with all this enjoyment, but I'm sad to live here, but I'm confident that each and every one of you will carry out the management of the city as always. And so I will, from time to time, come in and say hello. And then if there's opportunity, I may come in here and say a few words. All right, with all fellow commissioners, thank you very much for such a wonderful camaraderie during my stay on the commission, and then also city staff, especially Mr. Darrell Evans. He always just talk about the guns, And then so it is. I mean, we're joking. You know, I sometimes like to joke, but to make everybody relax. Yeah. So anyway, welcome aboard for as a new commissioner. I'm sure you're making the city the beautiful place. So any citizens in the future, just come and cry on their shoulder to make the city a better place to live, and then they will resolve for whatever problem you may face. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you,
Have a
former
good evening.
Commissioner, Mr. Kim. Thank you very much for coming. We really miss you here. And I would like to open the floor for other commissioners to give some comments.
Master Kim, we really miss you. And I in particular, because I got to serve with you longer than these other people. And unfortunately, JC, you didn't get to do it at all, did you?
No.
With Chen Young. I remember all our wonderful dinners out and sharing a lot of wonderful food with you and the others. We used to have a really, really good time. And you definitely were a mentor for me because of all your many years of experience and your compassion for our residents when they would be brought before us and they would come and you would explain firmly and diplomatically, but you certainly would inform them, this is the way it is, these are the ordinances, and you're so very well versed in them. So I wish you good health, and I wish your heart to heal also. And it will take a while, but it will, because you have such wonderful memories of your son. And he was an amazing, amazing person. So I will pass it along, but we definitely have missed you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Kim, I am the least experienced person over here, but what I get the knowledge from you, it's always carries with me. And thank you very much to serve the city of Cerritos.
And Mr. Kim, really thank you for your service. Your jokes were wonderful. It did make us relax and laugh. So we really appreciated having you here. We hope to see you often. And I know that you will probably serve in other capacity for the city. So we'll look forward to seeing you in other areas, other commissions, committees. I know that you're not just gonna sit around and not do anything. So we look forward to your new works in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim, and wish you all the best and very good health. Thank you. Close public comments. You wanted to say anything?
Oh, there is one person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, please. You get 5 minutes.
There's been a number of coyote sightings over there by.
Can you please identify yourself,
Yeah, I'm
your
sorry.
name?
My name is Louis Bautista. I live at 13724 Lucas Lane. And I just want to mention that in the past couple months, there's been a lot of sightings of coyotes roaming around. Even in the afternoon, like mid-afternoon, they're just roaming around. I've seen it for myself, 2 coyotes, well-grown coyotes, just walking in the neighborhood in the streets. And about 2 years ago, my Chihuahua was bitten by a coyote, but survived. And I'm just concerned that more dogs, small dogs will get killed, and I wish that the city would do something about it. We live by Coyote Creek, only a quarter mile away east of us, so I think that's where they're coming from. That's all.
Thank you very much.
So, what is there something that the city can do, Mr. Evans or staff, could address his concerns?
Good evening, Chairperson and committee members. That topic was discussed at the last city council meeting, and city council directed staff to look into preparing reports and perhaps having another wildlife meeting. We did probably about 3 years ago, pre-COVID, and so we are in the process now of contacting our partners in the wildlife agencies, and we'll be hosting an awareness campaign. But as far as directly, coyotes are part of the landscape. There's no way to actually eliminate them. The city of Cerritos does have a coyote management plan. It is the same one that is used by Long Beach, the city of Long Beach. As you know, the city of Cerritos contracts for animal care services through the city of Long Beach. And generally, coyotes in the wild are just that. They're part of the landscape. They're in the wild. Unless they become aggressive to humans or they attack animals that are on a leash of less than 6 feet. Short of that, it would be awareness and mitigation efforts, but we do not hunt coyotes or remove them from the environment unless, again, they are danger to public safety. But look forward to an announcement about when we will be hosting those coyote awareness program that's upcoming. Staff's doing the research on that now.
Thank you, Daryl. Any other public comments?
Well, I'm sorry. Further to what the gentleman just said about coyotes, my name is Oliver Olumba.
Can you identify yourself?
My name is Oliver Olumba. I am been a resident for Cerritos for 22 years, and my office is located at 103900 183rd Street, right next to Kaiser Clinic. And these coyotes has been an issue to the extent where the landlord issued a warning, to tenants like myself, to be aware of their presence. And I have seen one time at nighttime after I closed my office around 6 p.m. The place is not very well lighted. So, since the issue came up, I thought maybe I'll also let you guys know that we are aware of their presence around. And I'm not sure there's anything the city can do, to mitigate their presence. So that would be my comment.
Thank you very much. Can we have the approval of the minutes, please?
Move approval.
I'll second.
Thank you. Can we have the staff report? Oh. Sorry. Thank you.
And the motion passes 4-0.
Can we have the staff report for 6C?
Yes, Madam Chair and Commissioners, what we'll be presenting out of order here is item 6C.
Yes.
That report will be presented by Brian Lane. Brian?
Chair and members of the commission. On May 5th, 2023, staff inspected a property in the 13700 block of Lucas Lane, observing weeds and a lack of landscape maintenance. On the same date, a notification was left at the property advising of the violations and providing 7 days to abate the violations. A review of code enforcement records revealed this property was brought before the commission in 2019 and a resolution was adopted for similar violations. The following information documents the action taken to abate the violations. Inspections between May 15th, 2023 and July 17th, 2023 revealed no compliance. 3 additional notifications were mailed. An inspection on July 31st, 2023 revealed the landscape maintenance improved. An inspection on August 21st, 2023 revealed weeds and a lack of landscape maintenance with the additional observation of the east gate in need of repair and paint. A 5th notification was mailed. On September 12th, 2023, the property was posted for PPC. An inspection day revealed some weeds removed from the parkway and area east of the driveway. However, the front yard is still lacking landscape maintenance and the east gate is still in need of repair and paint. This completes my report and I would be happy to answer any questions.
So on May 5th, 2023, code enforcement staff inspected the property at 13,000 Lucas Lane, Cerritos, California, observing weeds and lack of landscape maintenance. So do we have any comments from the commissioners? What is it that we need to do? Okay. Do we have,
Oh, I thought you said commission. Can I speak up?
yes, please come. Oh, public hearing.
Again, my name is Louis Bautista. I live in 13742 Lucas Lane. I am aware, and the city had made me aware of the situation of my landscaping. I tried cutting my grass this week, but I've been having trouble with my lawnmower. I changed the carburetor, and I think it's a fuel issue, and it started up with a new carburetor, but it died halfway. I did attempt to cut it up, cut the grass up in the front, but it, with my busy schedule at work, I couldn't do it. So as far as painting the gate, I will do that, and if I can have an extension like a week, I can do it this weekend and get that arranged. As far as the lack of landscaping, I have a small sliver about 30 inches on the east side of my property where I sometimes park my vehicle. So when I do that, the landscaping dies because of the wheels of the car. I was wondering if I could put some kind of enhanced paving there instead of landscaping, so I don't have to keep having that issue. If the city will allow me to do that. There's a few neighbors of mine have concrete, which is, I know it's not permitted, and I don't know why I have to landscape that area where I need parking. So that's what I'm requesting, if I can have a hardscape instead of ground cover there.
Any comments from the commissioners?
When you're ready for resolution, I can provide that for you and answer all those questions.
Staff recommendation?
So first of all, I'd like to thank the homeowner for coming down. We have photographs of your house. We have photographs of your house here. It looks like you remodeled. It's a beautiful home. So,
Thank you.
yeah, it's very well architecturally designed there, and I'm sure mowing the front lawn will not be an issue. Looks like you have a lot of pride in your home. Again, just some minor repairs with the paint and so forth. As you talked about the extended driveway, just know that there is a municipal code that prohibits concrete poured up to your property line. There's supposed to be 3 feet of organic material there between your property line and the driveway. And so what you have throughout the city is people who have poured concrete up to the property line, and those would be homes that are out of compliance with the municipal code. And so, there's various sanctions for that, including the city would not issue permits should anybody want to work on those homes until they bring their home into compliance. But we can talk with you later on what you can do about that. But, there's a certain percentage of landscape that's required versus percentage of concrete. And I'm sure in your neighborhood, you've seen some homes that literally have concrete poured from the walkway to the driveway. And then sometimes the opposing driveway matches and it's concrete all the way across. And that doesn't look very aesthetic and doesn't do much for the property values. So that is an issue. But we can talk to you about that. But right now, before this body, we have resolution number PPC 2023-30, a resolution of the Cerritos Property Preservation Commission finding that the property located in the 13,700 block of Lucas Lane, Cerritos, constitutes a property nuisance set forth in Chapter 6.20 of the Cerritos Code and setting forth a 21-day abatement period therein. It would be in order to waive further reading and adopt. I would just like to say to the homeowner that if the resolution is adopted, staff is always willing to work with you, if something were to transpire. What we're looking for is compliance to get here, as you know, there's been several notices, several letters.
Yeah.
And if you contact staff early on, we can work with you and forego this. Because again, we're just looking for compliance. But in this particular time, we're looking at 3 weeks. And, if you needed a few more days beyond that, let us know. But by adopting the resolution, what that does is just ensure that the work will be done. Just so you know, there is no fine associated with this as long as the work is done.
I
Just wanna let you
appreciate
know
that. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the commissioners?
I move to adopt the resolution.
I'm second it.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question?
And the motion passes 4-0.
I'm sorry?
If you can just wait.
Yeah, sure, okay.
E. Your Your microphone.
July 7th, 2023, code enforcement staff inspected the property at 12,000 Palm Street, Cerritos, California. Sorry. Review and consideration of a case sent before the Property Preservation Commission, conditions constituting property nuisance, including an inoperable vehicle stored on the driveway and a lack of adequate ground cover as defined in Cerritos Municipal Code, Chapter 6.20, exist at property located at 12,000 Palm Street, Cerritos, California. Can we have the staff comments?
Yes,
Staff
Chairperson.
report, I'm sorry.
Yes, Chairperson. And council members, before you will be the case presented by Darnell Jerry. Darnell?
Chair, members, and commission, thank you. On July 7th, 2023, staff inspected a property at the 12,300 block of Palm Street, observing an inoperable vehicle on the driveway and lack of adequate ground cover on the front lawn. On July 7th, 2023, a notification was left at the subject property owner advising of the code violation and providing 7 days to abate the violations. Inspections between the dates of July 17th and August 29th, 2023 revealed no compliance, no progress, or contact from the property owner. 3 additional notification letters were mailed, as well as 1 notification left at the property. September 12th, 2023, the property was posted for public hearing. An inspection yesterday did reveal that the inoperable vehicle had been removed from the property driveway, but the lack of adequate ground cover still remains. Staff's recommendation is to adopt a resolution on this property. This completes my report, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
It's open for public hearing. Please.
Okay, once again, my name is Oliver Alumba. This is the property owner, Mr. Moses Onyejekwe. Like I said, I've been a resident for Cerritos for 23 years. And let me go back a little bit and ask a question with respect to issue that has been discussed earlier about the issue of the driveway concrete. And all that. What if somebody has purchased the property after the fact? Is the city code, is the guy required by the city code to go back and address the issue, or maybe amend it or reconstruct? Or what is the new homeowner supposed to do?
Any comments on that? Oh, okay. Gerald, can we address that?
Yes. Well, thanks for asking the question, because that applies to a lot of people. That would be a home that is referred to as non-conforming. So let's just say there's been modifications that you don't know of, and we do have out-of-state purchasers and just people who may not be aware of the local municipal code, and they purchase the home. Ultimately, if you were to modify that home and come to the city to apply for a new permit, then the city would come out, take a look at the house, and see what's out of code. Not just the cement, But anything else, let's just say there was room additions or patio expansion or anything that went on that did not have a permit, then at that time, it would be required that the home be brought into compliance, and that's when the permits would be issued. So right now, there's no fine. The city's not going to come back and require that you remove it. Those are, grandfathered in, if you would. But moving forward, if there would be any substantial modification to the home, you would have to have it in compliance with current laws and regulations.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. And please excuse my ignorance here. This is my first time here in a public meeting. With respect to this particular subject, which is 12309 Palm Street, exactly what do you mean by public or ground cover? Would that be grass? What does that mean?
Ground cover.
A ground cover,
Grass.
yes, like
Yes, that's
live
grass.
organic material. So it doesn't have to be grass. You have to have live, organic material. It could be plants, it could be shrubberies, it could be a host of things as long as it's living. In other words, what you could not do is cover it with, rocks or cement or, non-living materials.
Okay. All right. So in response to the commission's concern with respect to my friend's property, the vehicle in question has been removed. And I guess what we're asking for now, as much as we'd like to be in compliance with the city ordinance, how much time do we have to be able to comply with the ground cover?
Besides that, we would like to get clarifications from the city staff as far as the areas that need to be covered and things of that nature.
If I can just add some additional comments. So here before us is the resolution to be requiring 21 days or 3 weeks. But again, if you need additional time, we would be happy to provide that. Also, staff can provide you with recommendations of plants online on the city's website. There are several architectural plans or landscaping plans that you can use a combination of live organic material or drought-tolerant plants. There's a lot of information on the city's webpage if you're looking for design ideas or the type of plants that would grow best in that setting. And again, the staff would be able to provide you with some guidance along the way. But ultimately, it's your responsibility to not have bare dirt, on your property.
Very well. What is the number to call? Is it the 562-916-1203? Is there a specific individual to talk to if this is the actual number to call?
Well, in this particular case, the code enforcement officer here would be Darnell Jerry, who's sitting with us here this evening.
Is your mic on? Your mic is on?
Yeah, he's far from them.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's
Okay. All right. So I would like, is this the number to Mr. Jerry? The phone number that is 562-916-1203.
yeah.
Yes, that's our our basic line or office, but I have an extension that I can give to you later as well.
Okay. What with the extension?
So our time is up.
I can give that to you guys when we're
Thank you
done.
very much.
Thank you.
Ms.
A question to make sure of staff. And if he understands, the other thing that's being talked about is all the bare spots and everything, because there was the talk about the concrete as part of the drive, the car and all of that, but that the other is something that he has to have everything, or not all of it has to be live. I know you can explain all that to him, but you want to see if he's clear about what he needs to do. And I have one other question. Is it okay if I ask it of him, because he's the only one that can answer it? Is when did you remove the car?
Day before yesterday.
What?
Day before yesterday.
2 days ago.
On Sunday?
Yes.
What time on Sunday?
I don't remember the time.
Roughly, time of day? Morning, afternoon, evening? I was there at 11 in the morning and the car was there.
Yeah, I was there too, and the car was there
Um,
on Sunday. Yeah.
Let me check.
It was a Corvette.
Sorry, the car was removed around around 12 on Monday, which is
Monday.
yesterday.
Yeah. Sunday it was there. Okay, we close the public hearing. Do we have any staff recommendation? Are we done with that? Okay.
Yes, Chairperson and council members. If I may just make a quick comment here regarding the questions that are brought up here, because a lot of people at home may have the same issue. There is a requirement on how much landscape or hardscape and landscape you have. It's a little more complicated and no one's going to be able to follow it, but I'm going to mention it here because it is online. So what you do is you take the total square footage of the front yard area, and then you can have the front yard landscape area must be at least 40% of the total front yard area. And when we talk about the front yard area, we're talking about from property line to property line, from the curb to your front door, the whole front yard.
That's
And not just,
included.
when we talk about the front yard, we're not talking about just the grass. We're talking about everything in front of your house to the curb, from the property line to the property line. So at least 40% of that has to be landscaped. And within that, a total square footage of synthetic turf and landscape area can be no greater than 75% of the 40%. I know it gets a little complicated. And the total square footage of non-organic material, decomposed gravel, granite, or rocks within the area can be no greater than 20% of section B here, which is 40%. So there's a lot of percentages there, and I know no one can follow that, but what I'm saying is that there is a formula, and so what would happen is when you have an approved plan, you would have to actually map it out for approval here in the city and come in with your architectural plan and talk about landscaping and say, hey, this is how wide my driveway is, whether it's 2-car garage or 3-car garage. And of that, the 40%, this is going to be live organic material, which is grass or shrubbery or drought-tolerant plants. And then again, there's a percentage, no more than 20% of a portion can be non-organic material, which is rocks. And I know no one can follow that as we describe it, but there is a very specific formula for that. That's why the plan is outlined. And occasionally people come in and they copy their neighbor's house that may have 5 plants in the front yard with a bunch of rocks, and they say, well, my neighbor has it, but that's not an approved. Again, we have a formula. We'd be happy to interpret it. We have diagrams. It's all on the city's webpage. It's much easier if you look it up on the webpage than listen to me talk about percentages. But just wanted to let you know that there is a formula. It's not just somebody making an arbitrary decision while they're standing at the curb as to what looks good or not. We would actually come out there with a tape measure and make sure that it is within the city's municipal code.
Thank you, Daryl.
So that being said, before you, resolution number PPC 2023-32, a resolution of the Cerritos Property Preservation Commission finding that the property located in the 12,300 block of Palm Street, Cerritos, constitutes a property nuisance as set forth in Chapter 6.20 of the Cerritos Municipal Code and set forth the 21-day abatement period therein. It would be in order to waive further reading and adopt. If I may just add one additional comment, the value of some of these resolutions is to pass them to ensure that people do not return the cars, because sometimes they are removed, for 24, 48 hours, and then they magically reappear, and then the problem starts all over again. And so that's also the value of adopting a resolution, to ensure that it doesn't happen again without consequence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move adoption of the resolution.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Do we get a copy of the resolution?
Pardon me? I think,
Do we get a copy of the resolutions that you just passed now?
yes,
Very well.
thank you.
Do we have to wait for it, or?
No,
the mail?
you can leave.
Can you send the mail?
Yes, we'll see.
Thank you.
And the motion passes 4-0.
The next one is 6A. Review and consideration of a case sent before the Property Preservation Commission. Conditions constituting property nuisance, including structures, exteriors in need of repair and paint as defined in Cerritos Municipal Code 6.20, exist at property located at 19,700 block of Mapes Avenue, Cerritos, California. Comments from commissioners? Oh, staff report, sorry.
Yes, Chairperson Vassan and committee members. That case will be presented by Officer Kim Ardema, and we may slow the pace down a little bit since she's doing 3 jobs over there. She's both the secretary and the presenting investigator. Kim?
Chair and members of the commission, on on April 6, 2023, I inspected the property in the 19,700 block of Mapes Avenue, observing the wood siding, wood trim, and the garage door in need of repair and paint. A review of code enforcement records revealed that this property is tenant occupied and that this property was brought before the Property Preservation Commission in February of 2020, where a resolution was adopted for the same violations. However, the case was put on hold due to the pandemic. On April 6, a notification was mailed to the property owner advising of the code violations and providing 30 days to abate the violations or contact staff. From May 8th through September 5th, 4 additional notifications were mailed with no compliance or progress and no contact from the property owner. An inspection of the property yesterday revealed no progress or compliance. Staff recommendation is to adopt a resolution on this property. This concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any comments from the commissioners? It's open for public hearing. Close public hearing. Staff recommendation.
Yes, Madam Chair and Commissioners, before you is resolution number PPC 2023-28, a resolution of Cerritos Property Preservation Commission finding that the property located in the 19,700 block of Mapes Avenue constitutes a property nuisance as set forth in Chapter 6.20 of the Cerritos Municipal Code and setting forth a 30-day abatement period therein. It would be in order to waive further reading and adopt.
Motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
And the motion passes 4-0.
The next one is 6D. 6D, right? Or B?
Be like a boy.
Okay. Review and consideration of case sent before Property Preservation Commission. Conditions constituting property nuisance, including overgrown vegetation, lack of landscape maintenance, a lack of adequate ground cover, structure, exteriors in need of repair and paint, and is an unsightly condition as defined in Cerritos Municipal Code, Chapter 6.20, exist at property located 13,700 block of Joaquin Lane, Joaquin Lane, Cerritos, California. Sorry.
Stuff.
Staff recommendation, please.
Yes, Chairperson Vassan and Commissioners, that case will be presented to you by Officer Brian Lane. Brian?
Chair and members of the commission, on November 7th, 2022, staff inspected a property in the 13700 block of Joaquin Lane, observing a vehicle parked on the lawn east of the driveway, oil stands on the driveway, overgrown vegetation, a lack of landscape maintenance, a lack of ground cover, and the wood trim in need of repair and paint. On November 8th, 2022, a notice was mailed to the property owner providing 3 days to relocate the vehicle and 21 days to abate the remaining violations. A review of code enforcement records revealed this property was brought before the commission in 2011 and a resolution was adopted for similar violations. The following information documents the action taken to abate the violations. On November 16, 2022, one of the owners contacted staff and stated they were going to donate the vehicle and they would work on the other violations. An inspection on December 12, 2022 revealed the vehicle removed from the property. Inspections between March 6, 2023 and August 7, 2023 revealed some progress in the landscape maintenance and trimming of the overgrown vegetation, however, no compliance on the other violations. 3 additional notifications were mailed. Staff received a complaint regarding the overgrown vegetation on March 9, 2023 and received a voicemail from the owner on March 20, 2023. An inspection on September 5, 2023 revealed some trimming done on the vegetation around the front courtyard, however, no compliance on the other violations. On September 11, 2023, staff spoke to the owner of the property and advised of violations in the PPC process. On September 12, 2023, the property was posted for PPC. An inspection today revealed progress in the landscape maintenance and the oil stains, however, no compliance on the other violations. Staff recommendation on this property is to adopt a resolution to ensure compliance. This completes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any comments from commissioners?
Yes, when I went out there, it looks like the oil stain had been worked on to some extent. It was hard to tell because the lighting might have been different when the picture was taken and when I saw it on Sunday morning. But it's still very visibly there. The other stuff about the wood siding and everything, still nothing has been done. A little bit of, I guess that's a bougainvillea, has been trimmed, but sort of minimally. So, and the landscaping, the lawn and all of that is still quite bare anyway.
Yeah, I too went by and I agree with the oil stain. It doesn't look like it's in the picture, but it did have a lot of overgrown vegetation. So it's open for public hearing. Close public hearing. The staff recommendation.
Yes, Chairperson Vasson and Commissioners, before you is resolution number PPC 2023-29, a resolution of Cerritos Property Preservation Commission finding that the property located in the 13,700 block of Joaquin Lane, Cerritos, constitutes a property nuisance as set forth in Chapter 6.20 of the Cerritos Municipal Code and setting forth a 30-day abatement period therein. It would be in order to waive further reading and adopt.
Thank you, Terrell. Pass a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
I second it.
Still one
I think you.
waiting.
I second it.
No, but it's not moving though.
Oh,
It's,
already did. It's not moving.
I voted.
no, I think that one.
There we go.
It just didn't
It didn't take.
register.
There we go. And the motion passes 4-0.
These screens don't like me.
Yeah. Thank you.
No screen
Taking
likes
its own time.
me. I was the first one to vote.
All right, now for the last one, 6D, review and consideration of a case sent before Property Preservation Commission. Conditions constituting property nuisance, including lack of landscape maintenance and a lack of adequate ground cover as defined. Cerritos Municipal Code, Chapter 6.20, exist at property located at 17,200 block of Michaels Avenue, Cerritos, California. Can you have the staff recommendation?
Yes, Chairperson Vasson and Commissioners, that case will be presented to you by Officer Lane. Brian?
Chair and members of the commission. On March 1st, 2023, staff inspected a property in the 17200 block of Michaels Avenue, observing a lack of landscape maintenance and a lack of ground cover. On March 2nd, 2023, a notification was mailed to the owner advising of the violations and providing 21 days to abate the violations. The following information documents the action taken. Inspections between March 29th, 2023 and July 13th, 2023 revealed progress on the landscape maintenance on some inspections. However, the ground cover violations remained. 3 additional notifications were mailed. On July 20th, 2023, the owner contacted staff and stated he has been working on the landscape maintenance. However, there were areas of the lawn that are dead. Staff advised of the need for routine maintenance. The owner was transferred to the Community Development Department for questions regarding installing artificial turf on the front yard. An inspection on August 8, 2023 revealed progress on the landscape maintenance, and the property was monitored for ground cover improving or landscape maintenance plans submitted to community development. An inspection on September 5, 2023 revealed the lack of landscape maintenance and ground cover and no landscape plans submitted. On September 12, 2023, the property was posted for PPC. After posting the property, the owner contacted staff and stated he had hired a landscape company and will be submitting a plan to community development. Staff advised the PPC process and transferred him to community development. On September 25, 2023, the owner contacted staff and stated he submitted a plan, but it was returned with corrections needed. He stated the landscape company will work on the corrections and resubmit the plan and commence the work after the plan is approved. An inspection today revealed the landscape maintenance improved, however, the front yard is still lacking ground cover. Staff recommendation on this property is to adopt a resolution to ensure compliance. This completes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the commissioners?
No.
No. It's open for public hearing. Close public hearing. Can we have the staff recommendation?
Yes, Chairperson Vassan and Commissioners, before you is resolution number PPC 2023-31. A resolution of the Cerritos Property Preservation Commission finding that the property located in the 17,200 block of Michaels Avenue, Cerritos, constitutes a property nuisance as set forth in Chapter 6.20 of the Cerritos Municipal Code and setting forth a 21-day abatement period therein. It would be in order to waive further reading and adopt.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much.
And the motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. No. Oops, sorry. No, there's more. There's more? Oh, sorry. Reports from the Director of Community Safety.
Thank you, Chairperson Vassan. Just like to remind everybody, we did talk about coyotes tonight. The city's coyote management plan is online, so people can go there and read it. I'd also encourage anyone who sees or spots coyotes to report it on the webpage. If you go to the city's webpage and just type in coyote, it'll take you to a webpage that specifically addresses that. Then you can go to a site that you can allow to be reporting coyotes, so that we use that information, one, to see how many coyotes are around, and two, where they're concentrating, where the area is. Because without people reporting it, we have no idea where they're at when it comes time to mitigate it or if there's complaints. And also reminded that coyotes aren't the only things that take animals out there. You know, this is a wildlife area, and they're part of the landscape. Again, we don't hunt or remove coyotes. They're protected unless they are causing a public safety issue.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a quick question. It's on. So I did go around seeing all these homes, and I was seeing the homes around these homes are equally or worse than these homes. Many of them, most of these homes, I went around and I actually drove around the neighborhood. So I was just thinking that if I'm one of the victims and I come out and I see, hey, my neighbor's house is worse than mine, right? How does it work? I mean, is it the neighbors report you? That's how it happens? Or does the city go around looking at other properties that are not in compliance? I mean, I can really say there are others that were not in compliance. So I just had a question on that. I mean, because the ones that actually I went to didn't look as bad as some of the ones that were out there that were really bad.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of overgrown vegetation and, a lot of stuff that was not looking good in those neighborhoods. It was just something that crossed my head, and I wanted to bring it up to city to check.
I'd like to piggyback on
Yeah.
that. And there were two on Michael's in
Yeah.
particular. And one had something additional. So I sent an email off to Brian, since that was one of his properties. And so he provided me with a reply almost as soon as he could have. and then something very specific regarding a vehicle parked in back of a gate and that there's no curb cut there. And he brought some examples and explained that to me tonight. So when I've seen that, sometimes I'll mention it at the end of our meeting after we're all done to
Okay.
whomever the code enforcement officer is that was in that one. But yeah, no, I've seen that over all the years I've been doing this. And it's,
So I was just wondering, is it the neighbors report you and that's how it comes up, or does the city go around looking at these homes? I don't know. I'm just asking that question. Oh, is it?
Yes, I'm just waiting. to
I'm
see
just
if you have
curious,
Any other
that's all.
questions, that's all. And thank you for the opportunity to address that, because that's often asked, what about my neighbor? And so how it works is the city employs 3 full-time code enforcement officers. You see them sitting here at the table here. And we also have 1 part-time code enforcement officer, Clarence Stevens, who is not here with us this evening. He's on vacation this week. But he is assigned to the commercial areas and deals with homeless issues. So he's more, because most of the homeless people are in the commercial districts. That's why we do that. But the city is divided into 3 sections. Each code enforcement officer has a section. People are allowed to call, and we encourage to call the city. Those get the priorities, complaints, because we respond to those right away. And when the officers are not dealing with the complaints, they drive around the city on observations. And not just trying to catch people doing things wrong, but to assist people, with their properties and answer questions. And also to assist them in some ways. We have another property that we're dealing with where they may be engaged in construction activity with no permits. And so they'll issue a stop work order, which actually saves them a lot of money, because should they go on and be out of permit and out of code, they would have to come back and remediate it or even remove some of the work they're doing. But the officers do go around and they do what we refer to as observations. The first step is to leave a door tag. It's a courtesy tag. Driving through the neighborhood, I notice that the lawn is overgrown, or whatever the issue is. Please rectify it. And then the officer will come back and enter that service request in a system called Hanson. They just come back, they do a data entry, right? Went back to this address, left a door tag regarding whatever, and then they can flag it, follow up in 2 weeks. Then the machine will kick it back up and you can go back out there and take a look. They can go back out and see, okay, they did not resolve it in any way. Then that would trigger a letter. So we would send them a letter saying, hey, whatever the violation is, it's a little more formalized, a little more sternly worded than the door tag, that you have to fix this. This is non-optional. Cite the municipal code that empowers the code enforcement officer to make those claims, and then solicit their support. And then give them a certain amount of time. And then that time, hopefully the homeowner resolves it or contacts us and says, hey, I'm sorry, this is what's going on. It's been brought to my attention to this letter. I'm out of town. I have this going on, whatever. And then we work with the homeowner to resolve it. But if we don't hear from them, then that will trigger a second letter that'll go back out, again, asking for their compliance, directing them to comply. And when they don't do that, that's when they get the third letter and then the notice, that you're going to be brought toward the Property Preservation Commission. You could be fined for this. And if they don't respond to that, ultimately there's a stake that goes in the front yard with the notice, because sometimes people don't get it on their door, or who knows, someone picks up the mail and throws the notice away. So clearly a stake put in your front yard by the city with a notice of legal action pending, that usually gets people to call. But sometimes that doesn't happen either, which is why, like tonight, we had several homeowners, but the other folks, they never responded to the door tag, they never responded to the letters, they never called, they didn't come to the meeting. That's when we seek your concurrence in adopting a resolution. Then we notice them that a resolution has been adopted, and failure to comply will result in a fine. And that's when it becomes punitive, and then hopefully we can get some compliance that way. So to answer your question, there's a lot of homes in various stages. And so if you have an address, yes, if you have an address, then we can look it up and say, oh, that's new to us, we're not aware of that. Or yes, we've been working with the folks
With them,
there.
okay. So it
And
could be
then on rare occasion, there's something special going on in the home, mental health issues or elderly or home care where they're just not able to deal with it. And then we'll make decisions, based on special circumstances. But the process is that The code enforcement officers are supposed to drive every street and look at every house, I would expect them to do that over the course of a month, right? There's not that many streets.
I'm just wondering if he comes out and he says, I got this letter from city, and he's talking to this neighbor whose house is really bad, and he doesn't get a letter from the city. I mean, how would it be? What action would he take? I mean, saying, hey, huh?
Well, we take referrals on the spot too.
Oh, okay.
So if someone comes out and says, I got a letter, but my neighbor's house looks just as bad, and then you turn over your shoulder and you go, as a
Okay.
matter of fact, it does. We'll add it to the list. And then they get a door tag as well, right? So everyone should receive attention. Again, these aren't punitive things. The code enforcement officer's task is to work for you, because ultimately you decide, you serve as the conscience of the community, because the code enforcement officer can say, hey, this house looks a little disheveled, it looks like it's overgrown, and we recommend you adopt a resolution, and then you can review it and say, I don't think it's that bad, we're not going to do that. Because ultimately,
Okay.
you serve as the conscience of the community, you get to decide what the standard is. And the ultimate goal is to
Keep it
keep
clean
the
and nice.
city in good order, clean, and the homes in good order, so that the property values remain high. And that, as we see more renters, you may have owners that haven't even seen their property in years because the renters are in there and they may not be taking care of the property, which is why we always contact the homeowner and say, hey, you're ultimately responsible for your property, and your tenants are not maintaining it or have done something, oil in the driveway, right? There's no way for a homeowner to know that if they don't live in the city. And that's when they get the notice and then contact them. So ultimately, it's the beautification of the city is what code enforcement is supposed to be doing. That's the whole purpose of enforcing those codes.
So the adequate brown cover, do they give them any formula, or say, hey, because when I look at this, I'll say I'm looking at the ground cover, right? I mean, most of it is green, but there are patches of it which is not green. I mean, if I'm the owner, I will wonder what that means. So is there something that's really described when you leave a note for them saying, hey, put some more grass or something like that?
And thank you for asking that. Generally, if there's a little brown patch or something,
Yeah.
that's not going to be brought to the attention of code enforcement officers, nor would they make it an enforcement action. But if they're there for other things, there's painting, or in this case, you have a well-maintained home, but you have, house trim, or the side gate is peeling and there's dirt, as long as you're there, then you're going to address all the issues.
Okay.
But if it's just a brown spot somewhere and you're driving
They won't.
by, that's probably not going to get a lot of attention. But if there's other things, then they're going to cite them all. It's not much different if you get pulled over by the highway patrol for speeding, and as long as they have you and they notice your tires are bald and your lights aren't on and everything else, you're going to get the full menu.
Are
Sorry,
we off
sorry for
from
asking
the?
so
I'm
many
sorry.
questions, but
Go ahead.
this time I was a little surprised because I thought, oh my God.
Yeah, our letters are very specific. When we send letters, they're
very
very, very
specific.
specific.
And since we are on the TV, are we off from the ground? What it called?
Drought?
Drought.
Yes.
So we can use enough water.
Yes, you can use as much water as you like, so long as it's not wasteful and that it's draining into the street. And so that's where we would have some intervention if you're just wasting
Definitely.
water. But you can you can water your
I
plants
know
as
that,
often as
but
like.
I want to just make sure that whoever watching this, they
Yes.
are aware of it, that we are off from the drought.
Was Cerritos ever really under any restrictions?
Yes.
They said you have to water between this time and this
Yes,
time.
it was there.
Yeah.
At various stages. So there's various levels, but if you go back to Jerry Brown and Company, that's when they were talking about brown is new green, and they weren't watering at all.
Yeah.
But
Jerry, but
yes,
just
so
talking
at,
of
at
those-
various times. but-
until we had before all the rain we had
Correct.
this year.
Correct. After last year's full rain, then
Full
the
rain,
reservoirs are back up.
yes, it came out.
But fortunately, Cerritos has its as a groundwater, and we have our own water system, so that hasn't been an issue for us.
Any other communication from you?
Only thing it's off this topic, but the street parking. I have a guest coming every Wednesday or Thursday, and he need to park on the street. and we are limited to the 30 maximum permit on the street. What we can do? Should I apply for the like a yearly permit, or is there any resolution? And over within a few months, I might have a 3 more permanent guests coming who can park like a 3 days or 4 days a week.
If you like, I can explain that in great detail outside the scope of the property preservation.
Of course,
meeting.
of course. I know this is not the topic we
Yes,
should discuss.
yes, but I'm glad you brought it up, and I'll be happy to assist you with that.
Anything from you? Okay. The meeting is adjourned. Finally, I got it right one.